Hey everyone, welcome to Logan's Mosh Pig. Glad to have you here. Do me a favor and please subscribe if you haven't already. Gather round bookworms, because it's time for a new episode of Rock and Read. Before 2024 comes to a close, I would like to start a new book. I've been a fan of Elvis as long as I can remember, so I knew that I had to get my hands on the book Elvis and Me, written by his wife Priscilla Presley. Now, let's dive right in with Chapter 1. It was August 16th, 1977, overcast and dreary. Not a typical Southern California day. When I walked outside, there was a stillness, an unnatural calm in the air that I have not experienced since. I almost went back into the house, unable to shake my uneasiness. I had a meeting that morning, and by noon, I was racing to meet my sister Michelle. On my way into Hollywood, I noticed the atmosphere had not changed. It still seemed unusually silent and depressing, and it had begun to drizzle. As I drove down Melrose Avenue, I saw Michelle standing on the corner, a look of concern on her face. "Scylla, I just got a call from Dad," she said as I pulled up. "Joe's been trying to reach you. It's something about Elvis in the hospital." Joe Esposito was Elvis's road manager and right-hand man. I froze. If he was trying to reach me, something must be terribly wrong. I told Michelle to take her car and quickly follow me home. I made a U-turn in the middle of the street and raced back to the house like a mad woman. Every conceivable possibility went through my mind. Elvis had been in and out of the hospital all year. There were times when he wasn't even sick that he'd check in for a rest, to get away from pressures, or just out of boredom. It had never been anything too serious. I thought about our daughter Lisa, who was visiting Elvis at Graceland and was supposed to come home that very day. "Oh God," I prayed, "please let everything be all right. Don't let anything happen. Please, dear God." I ran every red light and nearly hit a dozen cars. At last I reached home, and as I swerved down the driveway, I could hear the phone ringing from inside the house. "Please don't hang up," I prayed, jumping out of the car and running toward the door. "I'm coming," I yelled. I tried to get my key in the lock, but my hand wouldn't stop shaking. Finally, I got into the house, grabbed the receiver and yelled, "Hello? Hello?" All I could hear was the hum of a long-distance line, then a strict, faint voice. "Scylla, it's Joe." "What's happened, Joe?" "It's Elvis." "Oh my God, don't tell me." "Scylla, he's dead." "Joe, don't tell me that, please." "We've lost him." "No, no!" I begged him to take back his words. Instead, he was silent. "We've lost him." His voice broke, and we both began to cry. "Joe, where's Lisa?" I asked. "She's okay. She's with Grandma." "Thank God. Joe, send a plane for me, please, and hurry. I want to come home." As I hung up, Michelle and Mother, who had just arrived, embraced me, and we cried in each other's arms. Within minutes, the phone rang again. For a moment, I hoped for a miracle. They were calling me back to tell me that Elvis was still alive, that it was all right, that it had all been a bad dream. But there were no miracles. "Mommy, Mommy," Lisa was saying, "something's happened to Daddy." "I know, baby," I whispered. "I'll be there soon. I'm waiting for the plane now." "Everybody's crying, Mommy." I felt helpless. What could I say to her? I couldn't even find words to comfort myself. I feared what she would be hearing. She didn't yet know that he had died. All I kept saying over and over was, "I'll be there as soon as I can. Try to stay in Grandma's room, away from everyone." In the background, I could hear a grief-stricken Vernon moaning in agony. "My son's gone! Dear God, I've lost my son!" Fortunately, a child's innocence provides its own protection. Death was not yet a reality to her. She said she'd go out and play with Laura, her friend. I hung up and walked around in a daze, still numb with shock. The news hit the media instantly. My phones did not stop ringing, with friends trying to cope with the shock, members of the family grasping for explanations, and the press demanding statements. I locked myself in the bedroom and left instructions that I would not speak to anyone, that I wanted to be alone. In fact, I wanted to die. Love is very deceiving. Though we were divorced, Elvis was still an essential part of my life. Over the last years, we'd become good friends, admitting the mistakes we had made in the past and just beginning to laugh at our shortcomings. I could not face the reality that I would never see him alive again. He had always been there for me. I depended on him just as he depended on me. We had a bond. We'd become closer and had more understanding and patience for each other than in our married life. We had even talked of one day, and now he was gone. I remembered our last phone conversation just a few days before. His mood had been good as he talked about the 12-day tour he was about to begin. He even laughed when he told me that, as usual, the Colonel had papered the first city they were scheduled to hit with his posters, and that his records were being played constantly in advance of his arrival. "Good old Colonel," Elvis had said. "We've come a long way. He's still putting out that same old stuff. It's a wonder people are still buying it." I loved hearing Elvis laugh, something he had been doing less and less. Just days before that last call, I had heard that his spirits were down, and that he was contemplating breaking up with Ginger Alden, his girlfriend. I knew him well enough to realize that this was not an easy move for him to make. If only I had known that would be the last time I'd talk to him, I'd have said so much more. Things I wanted to say and never had. Things I had held inside me for so many years because the timing was always wrong. He had been a part of my life for 18 years. When we met, I had just turned 14. The first 6 months I spent with him were filled with tenderness and affection. Blinded by love, I saw none of his faults or weaknesses. He was to become the passion of my life. He taught me everything: how to dress, how to walk, how to apply makeup and wear my hair, how to behave, how to return love, his way. Over the years, he became my father, husband, and very nearly, God. Now, he was gone, and I felt more alone and afraid than ever in my life. The hours went by slowly before Elvis's private plane, the Lisa Marie, arrived. Behind closed doors, I sat and waited, remembering our life together. The joys, the pain, the sadness, and the triumphs from the very first time I heard his name. Well, that's the end of Chapter 1. Let me know what you thought of Chapter 1 in the comments below. That does it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate the support. I'll see you next time. Till then, rock on.